You're on a high-stakes sales call and the prospect asks a question that you cannot answer, threatening to derail the entire conversation. Now, instead of showing weakness, do this instead, because when you do what I'm about to get you to do, it will allow you to build that authority again and have the prospect pulled back into the conversation. My name is Justin James. Over the last decade, I've taken what I used to do in psychiatric nursing and applied it right here into sales. That's allowed me to generate over 22 million in sales myself, and my clients have gone on to generate over 200 million using the stuff that I've been teaching inside of my invisible sales method. Now, in this video, I want to help you to stop allowing prospects to take control of a conversation. Now, look, most of the times you'll get prospects who are asking lots of questions because they're kind of trying to get off the call, or they genuinely do want to understand a bit more. That's fine, I understand, and I get that. However, here's the thing. Have you ever had a prospect ask you a question that you don't know the answer to? And then in that moment, you're like, hey, I can check with my team. I'm not sure, but let me check with my team. Guess what happens in that moment? You've completely lost control and you've completely lost momentum, because now the prospect has got an exit. They can get off the call now because they're like, okay, well, you go and check with your team and you give me a call back or whatever it is. And even if you say, hey, look, hold the line, just hold the line while I check with one of my colleagues, even then you've lost it. Let me tell you why. Because you've completely lost authority status in the prospect's eyes. Now look, I'm not telling you you need to know the answer to absolutely every single question. Of course you should have product knowledge and of course you should be prepared. But please understand, what question is the prospect asking you? Is it a question that is a real question, or is it a question that's just trying to derail the conversation so they can get off the phone? Because a lot of the times they will ask certain things that actually have no relevance to the decision that they need to make right now. For example, I was having a conversation with a real estate developer the other day. And they were saying, look, our team sometimes speak to prospects trying to sell these units, sell these apartments. And sometimes people will ask stuff like, well, I don't know whether I want to buy one yet because these are off plan, they're not being built yet. I don't know if I want to buy one yet because I'm not sure what the kitchen is going to look like. And I don't know what the design is going to look like. Do you know what the design is like, Mr. or Mrs. Salesperson? How is the sale rep going to know anything about kitchen design, you know, the measurements, you know, the performance of it and all that? They're not going to know this stuff. So why was the prospect really saying that? They just wanted to get off the phone. It was an excuse. Now, typically what the team member will do is go, oh, let me check with my team and I'll come back to you. They've lost it in that moment. So I was saying to them, look, instead of answering that question, acknowledge the question, because you don't want to rubbish someone. Acknowledge it. I agree. If I was in your shoes right now, buying one of these apartments, I'd want to know what the kitchen looks like too. And here's the thing. Once you've invested in the kitchen, you get to speak to our design team about how you want it to look and the types of appliances that you want to put in. Because we've got lower range, we've got higher range, and it all depends on your budget and what you're working towards. And we've also got various designs that we can put in according to your personal taste. Because at the end of the day, this is off plan. We want to make sure it's a home that you want. We don't want to just give you a cookie cutter method. So we work with you after you've put your deposit down. Do you see what happened just then? I don't actually know how the designs work at all. I have no clue. But what I did was understand that, hey, you know what, that's a derailing question, but I'm going to answer it anyway. And I answered it without actually knowing the answer. Does that make sense? Much better frame. So why am I telling you to start doing stuff like this? Because when you allow prospects to ask questions, granted there's a time for it, but when you allow prospects to ask questions, guess what? He or she who asks questions is usually in control. Now, if you're taking notes, write that down and freaking circle it. He or she who asks questions is usually in control. So if you think about it, any great closer, any great salesperson asks questions. We let the prospect talk more. You should be letting the prospect talk 70% of the time. But a lot of rookie salespeople, they'll talk, allow the prospect to answer questions. So now you're on the back foot, and before you know it, it's just a slippery slope and it's a mess. So as a sales professional, as a sales rep right now, as someone who's selling products or services, you've got to understand he or she who asks questions is usually in control. So sometimes the prospect will throw a question that you don't have the answer to. Now, let me give you an example. They might say to you, is there any way that you can give me a discount? Now, if you're part of a sales team right now and you don't have the authority to give a discount, you might be inclined to go, just so you can get the deal over the line, you know what, let me check with my boss. Let me check with my superior. Let me check with my team leader, which is fine. And there are certain scenarios where you can play that, you can run that play, and I've done that before, and it kind of works depending if it lands correctly. But in most cases, you're going to deposition yourself. The minute you say, let me check with my leader, it basically means you don't have the authority to do this. So what can we do instead? Agree with them. Look, I agree. If I was in your shoes right now, it's quite a significant investment to work with us. I'd be considering how I can get the payments down myself, which is a fair point. May I ask Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, what's making you want a discount right now? Because we've spoken about the value of what you're getting from us. We've spoken about the big problem that is going to take away from you. Surely you want to invest in having that problem disappear because it's costing you more keeping it right now. So I'm just curious, what's driving the decision around asking for a discount? Do you see what I've just done there? He or she who's asking questions is usually in control. The prospect asked me a question. What did I do? Ask one back. You know this thing that we've been told when we were growing up? Never answer a question with a question, young man. That's what I was told when I was in school, when I was growing up. Never answer a question with a question. What absolute nonsense in sales. In sales, forget that. Don't pay attention to that. When someone asks you a question, and it's not the right time for them to ask a question, as in, you know, when you get to the end, when you've enrolled someone and you say, have you got any questions or whatever it is, that's cool. But you know, when they ask you a question and they throw you, don't answer it. You answer it with another question, just like I did there. Is there any chance you can get a discount? Hey, can I understand? What's prompting you to want a discount? Throwing it back with another question. I haven't answered their question. I'm actually just challenging them because at the end of the day, they're just trying to be cheeky, trying to get a deal. Look, we're not here to give people discounts. We solve expensive problems. You want my help? That's the investment. You don't want my help? This is going to cost you more. You choose, okay? So I want to answer it with a question. So in sales, you've got to answer a question with a question. Now, this only happens, my friends, if I'm very, very honest, if you're good with yourself. Let me give an example. For me, I can put myself in any given situation, and I might not know the answer to what people are asking me. I can be way out of my depth. I can be in a room of people who are in an industry that I know nothing about, but you know what? I can stand in that room and I can hold my own. Do you know why? Because I've got confidence in myself. I've got self-worth. I have an understanding of myself. I'm good with myself. I don't feel bad about being the stupidest person in the room or the least wealthiest person in the room or whatever. I don't mind. I'm good with myself. And most sales reps aren't. Let's be perfectly honest. As salespeople, a lot of the times, our self-worth is attached to our results. And if we're not smashing it, if we're not driving the Lambos, if we're not doing really, really well, suddenly we feel that we're on the floor. And then because we feel like we're on the floor, when we speak to prospects, we put the prospects up on a freaking pedestal. And because they're up on a pedestal, there's this power struggle going on. And before you know it, they're in charge. So you've got to be good with yourself, my friend, for you to be able to ask certain questions yourself. You've got to be good with yourself to be able to push back. You've got to be good with yourself to be able to call prospects on their BS, because at the end of the day, you're not calling them out to make them feel stupid. You're calling them out because you genuinely care about them. You want to get to the truth. You want to understand why are they not moving forward with this, because you've just spent the best part of 20 minutes telling me how bad your problem is. I'm curious, it can't hurt that much if you're arguing with me over a small discount, or arguing with me over why you can't start today, or arguing with me why you can't find the money. Like, I just want to get to the freaking truth. What's happening right now? And that doesn't happen most of the time with sales reps. Like, you can listen to sales calls all over the world and you'll see sales reps up and down the country, all over the world, allowing the prospect to get away with some crap. And I always say to my team, hey, listen, on every single sales call, someone's buying something up in here. Either they're buying your product or buying your service, or you're buying their excuses. But either way, a transaction happens. They either sell you or you sell them. And most people are allowing prospects to sell them. Got to be good with yourself. So no more telling the prospect, let me check with my team, let me check with my manager, let me check with my colleague. It basically means you've got zero authority in this situation. For me, all of my sales team have got total responsibility for everything, okay? In fact, I'm the one who doesn't have the authority. Often people come directly to me and go, Jess, you know what? I was speaking to your team and I'd like to work with you, but can you do me a deal, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell them straight, hey, I don't have permission to do that. I own the company, but I have zero permission to give you a deal right now, because if I did, I'd get it in the neck from my sales team. So you've actually got to go back to the person who who actually you spoke to in the first place. And if you want a deal, you've got to sweet talk them, not me, because they're the one who's in charge. You see what I do? I elevate my team. I'm not here to make them feel like this, because sometimes prospects do this, right? They try and go around the back door and come to the leader, or go to your boss or your line manager and try and go around you. And bad managers actually do a deal for the person, and it makes you feel as a sales professional that small. That's not cool. That's not real leadership, okay? So what I'm trying to say to you, my friend, is own your space. Own who you are, own what you do. Stop telling prospects, I'll check with my team. If you don't know the answer, figure it out there and then. If you don't know the answer, push back with another question. If you don't know the answer, ask yourself, are they really asking me this question because it's a genuine question? Or are they asking me this because they just want to defer what we're trying to do here, which is make a bloody decision? Think about it, okay? So look, if you got value from this, I want to coach you. I want to mentor you. I run something called the Invisible Sales Academy. It's application only. I only take a few people on every single month. And the reason for that is because it's very intimate. You also get one-to-one time with me. This is not some cookie cutter program where you just jump on group calls all the time and get no access to the leader. No, you get to have direct contact and direct access working with me privately on learning my invisible sales method. We focus on ditching the script, so you never need to use a script again. All you got to do is memorize 7 words. That's it. If you can memorize 7 words, you can handle any sales conversation, whether that's a one-to-one sales conversation on a Zoom call or face-to-face with a prospect in a meeting room. Doesn't matter where you are, you use these 7 words that I teach my clients on the Invisible Sales Method, and you're able to smash any conversation without actually needing a script. Bye-bye script. Then you also learn exactly how to uncover what's holding you back. What are your roadblocks? What are the emotional triggers that you are bringing into every sales conversation that's actually stopping you from closing more deals? And more importantly, we look at your offer and how I can fine-tune, me personally, rewrite your pitch for you so that when you come to pitching your offer to the prospect, you know exactly how to say it and you know exactly which words to use. The same words that I used to use to help patients who were hearing voices say yes and take their treatment. And I want to show you exactly how to do this stuff. And look, let's be perfectly honest. Conversations cost nothing. If right now you're sitting there thinking, but Jess, is this expensive? I can't afford it, blah, blah. You don't even know what it is. In fact, we've got very affordable options for people just like yourself who are looking to level up their sales right now. And I'm telling you now, there's not one program in the world, there's not one person in the world who used to be a former psychiatric nurse and is applying these techniques into sales. Nobody. Go and find someone. There's no one. I'm the only person in the world who's doing this stuff, and my clients are secretly freaking smashing it while other people are getting left behind. So if you want to ethically outsell your competition, all you've got to do right now is either comment the word sales down below, or if there's a link in the description, go to that link right now. Apply for a quick conversation. You will not be pitched on this first conversation. It's just an initial chat to see whether we can work together or not. If we can, we'll talk to you about what we can do. If we can't, we'll just leave it there. Makes sense? But there's no hard pressure, no hard sales. In fact, you'll actually get to witness the Invisible Sales Method in action in real time. So comment the word sales down below or click on the link if there is one in the description, and let's have a conversation. It'll either be with me or one of my colleagues. Either way, we'll get round to speaking to you. Okay, so look, I hope this video served you in some way or form. If it did, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm trying to get this channel to reach more sales professionals because not many people know what it is that I teach. And I just want to help you. Whether you work with me or not is irrelevant. I just want to serve you with these videos and with these trainings so that you can implement them for free every single day into your business. So hit like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video.